Hi, this is Annie from Hoop Sisters, and I'd like to show you the Northern Lights quilt. We have two samples here. This is the 8-inch sample, and this one over here is our 5-inch sample. They both have the same number of blocks in them, so you can kind of see the size difference. Another difference that we did on here is on the 8-inch sample, we actually took the blocks that were in the center and we rotate them so you can see the star layout in the middle of the block. Another difference I'd like to point out is that this block right here, this is Northern Lights A, and there's a second block that right next to it, Northern Lights B. So there are actually two different blocks in this quilt. The difference between the NLA, as they're referred to in your instructions, and the NLB is the fact that the motif fills are reversed on them, and that gives a much nicer looking quilt with the different fills and stuff. So you do need to be aware of that in your instructions. So now I'd like to show you what fabrics and threads that you'll need in order to make the Northern Lights block. To make our Northern Lights block, you're going to need a backing fabric, you're going to need a fabric 1, and also your fabric 2. To get the exact sizes that you'll need for your block, you'll need to refer to your instructions. It'll be based on the size block that you're making. You also need a temporary spray adhesive, battleizer large enough to fit in your hoop. You'll need embroidery bobbin thread wound on your bobbin, and you'll need 3 different shades of thread. And for 2 of the colors, you'll need a bobbin that matches it. So let's sew. The first step is you're going to sew the pattern out onto the battleizer. For step number 2, you're going to use water-soluble thread, and you're going to place your fabric 1 just squarely over this area, and with the water-soluble thread, it's going to sew an outline stitch. After it's used the water-soluble thread to sew this fabric to the battleizer, you can leave the outside of it alone. You don't have to trim that off. But on the inside of the block, you're going to want to trim this fabric about a scant 1/4 inch away from the stitching. I'm using my hoop scissors to do that. It easily gets inside the hoop. We are now on step 3, and I'm stitching out Northern Lights A, and in Northern Lights A it calls for thread A in step 3, and my thread A is going to be blue. Okay, for step 4 it tells us to change to thread B in the needle only for NLA, and since we're doing the NLA block, we're going to now change to green and stitch the other motif. Okay, for step 5, what you're going to do is take your fabric 2, and it's a little bit oversized, so what we're going to do is we're going to lay it down in this corner, so you're about a 1/2 inch over on both the side and the bottom. And then also it's a little oversized and it's going to hang over in this area, and that's because after we trim it, you're going to take what is left over and use it for the alternating block. Alright, now that we have our fabric 2 sewn on to our block with our water-soluble thread, you're going to trim right up close to the stitching, so let me finish doing that. And then what I'm cutting off here is going to be saved to be used on the next block. So on the next time you need fabric 2 on your next block, you'll just use this piece right here. For step 6, you're going to take your thread C and you're going to put it in the needle only, and it's going to stitch a motif. For step 7, it's going to stitch a stem stitch to cover that raw edge. You can use any color thread that you want to, however we do recommend that you use a thread that's going to match your fabric 2. For step number 8, you're going to put water-soluble thread in the needle only, and you're going to take your backing fabric and you're going to spray the back side of your backing fabric with a temporary spray adhesive, and then you're going to adhere it to the back of your hoop, centered over your block. You'll put it back in the machine and it'll stitch a basting stitch. For step 9, the first thing you'll need to do is, if you have an automatic thread cutting feature on your machine, you're going to need it to turn it off. This will make for a much prettier and cleaner background, and you're also going to be matching your bobbin thread with your needle thread, and the machine will stitch some stem stitches. For step 10, place thread C in the needle end in the bobbin, and then you're going to bring your bobbin thread to the top and it'll sew the quilting. We've completed our Northern Lights block. Now you can take it out of the hoop and trim it to be joined into a quilt. In order for you to get the information for how to trim it and how to join the blocks together and how to put the sashing on it, I'd like to refer you to the last page of our written instructions for trimming. But we also have a brand new video available, our trimmings, joining, and sashing video that you can refer to on how to put the blocks together. Another very exciting thing that we have new this year is also we have some projects that you can work on. These are projects that we've done using our Northern Lights block. This is an adorable little mouse pouch. This was made with 4-inch blocks. Linda found her jump drive she's been missing for a while, so she can now do that. It also comes with those who are traveling back and forth to classes. This is a trimmer by George Case, which is awesome. It has a place on the front that holds your hoop scissors, and on the inside you can hold your trimmer so that you can protect it from becoming bent while you're traveling back and forth to classes. And I also have it in another color here, and this is another color. This is actually done, this big one, this is like for a rat or a small animal because we called the other one mouse pouch. This one is much bigger. This was made with the 8-inch blocks, where the other ones are all made with 4-inch blocks. So we hope you go back to your dealer for classes so that you can learn how to make these.